It's Miles.
Trouble.
It's the Make It Make Sense podcast. Let's jump into this. Treble, it's episode 1. So I guess we'll explain a little bit about ourselves so everybody knows who we are. I'll start with myself. My name's Miles. I'm a producer, singer, father,
Hey.
lover. I do it all.
Hey.
And I ended up meeting you through music, through a mutual friend, Def B. And
OG.
we hit it off pretty quick. And during that session, when we should have been recording, we were talking about a bunch of other shit that was super interesting, and that became the trend. It seemed like almost every session. So we said, "Fuck it, let's get together, let's get it on film, and see if other people, ride with us and like listen to us bullshit around."
Hell yeah.
Tell the world about who Treble is.
Well, I'm Tr3bel, man. If you don't know me, get to know me because I'm probably gonna be around for a while. I like to look at myself as a hip hop artist, not necessarily a rapper. There is a difference. But more importantly, I just think, man, the best way to describe myself is just a person that you're gonna have to experience, and that really is the reason that I wanted to do this podcast with Miles, because it's just a lot that we talk about, like he said, in our spare time, man. So much going on in the world, so much that
Mhm.
makes sense, so much that don't make sense. And why do we gotta sit here and keep talking about it amongst us two when we can talk about it with y'all, the rest of the world, and maybe we can make sense out of this whole thing. So that's what this is for.
If you gun to your head, you had to remember what was the one conversation where you're like, "Damn, Miles is on the level here." What do you think that was?
I would say when we started talking about Toth and that whole connection, because you started telling me about stuff that you were experiencing, and I was kind of like, damn, okay, you're not as far out of the loop with this stuff as I thought you were. I ain't got to do so much schooling, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, that, and then just us talking about regular stuff though, like how somebody responds to me
Mm-hmm.
about regular, like simple, basic situations, kind of let me know their level of maturity, because it's just kind of like, if you can't handle a basic conversation, how can you handle a complex one? So
Yeah, true. When you can just have an endless conversation with someone about almost any topic, um, it's not as natural and common as people. I don't. I think everybody knows that, unless you're some sort of like social butterfly and you fucking can talk to the
that ain't
walls.
me.
No, no, that's not me either. So being able to, I'm definitely. Would you consider yourself a one-on-one person? Like, I feel like I when I'm in around a bunch of people, I almost have to like go the day after and like it's like a hangover.
Yeah,
It's like a social hangover, you know.
I totally experienced that. Like, it's the whole introvert versus extrovert thing that it's psychologically proven. Excuse me,
Hmm.
but you just have people with different personalities. But you know the way energy works, the way people's auras work. Sometimes you just get bombarded by too much outside energy, and me and Miles both are like that. So
Hmm.
having one-on-one talks definitely is easier for him and me. Um, I mean, I did some college, and there you kind of forced to interact in certain situations, certain classes. I majored in business. So it's like certain classes and stuff like that, you got to speak in front of the class, you got to do group projects, stuff like that. So I was forced to be more comfortable being around people and still being able to converse and get
Hmm.
my point across. But I definitely have that like energy drain with too much people talking to me at once, too many people asking me questions. I'd be like, yo, what the like, oh my God, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. You went to college. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, I went to Cookman, BCU. Hey.
Oh, you did. I think you did tell me that.
Yeah.
Did you finish?
Nah, I ain't finished. They had some nonsense going on over there at the time, but still shout out to Cookman. Ain't no hard feelings. I love y'all. Represented by the great lady Mary McLeod. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And doctor, excuse me. And you can't come to Daytona if you ain't never had Bethune Grill. Shout out to Bethune Grill. Maybe they
Mm.
give us some free wings. You know what I'm saying? Hey, a man can hope. But
First sponsor.
one day. It's only episode 1. We got time. We
Mm-hmm.
got time. Tag Bethune Grill if y'all see this. Get some free wings, get some sponsorship. We get enough free wings, we'll hand some out.
Yeah, I'll
Everybody
hand
get
some wings
one
out.
wing apiece. That's it, though. Nothing extra.
All right, you're gonna think I'm crazy. I've never eaten it before. I've never had it.
I wouldn't say you crazy because, okay. So,
Oh,
real
you're gonna try
quick.
to figure out a way to say it nicely?
Real quick. We in Daytona.
Mhm.
For anybody who watching this.
No, we're not.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, we're in California. Remember?
You right. Nonetheless, I got a medical card. I ain't worried about these
Oh, okay.
people. Fuck these people. Got a medical card. Nonetheless, though, a lot of people don't know about Daytona Beach. That is also part of the motivation for doing this podcast.
Mhm.
Kind of give you an insight on the city. We'll eventually have guests and people from around here. Kind of just give you a whole insight. You know what I'm saying? People really only know Daytona 500. But
Mhm.
as I stated, Bethune Grill is located right. I wouldn't say, yeah, you can say right across the street from the campus. It may be a little like a block over or something like that, but it's virtually across the street. You can't just pull up out there if don't nobody know you.
All
You know
right.
what I mean?
So I got the menu up here.
Mhm.
Oh my God. So what's their thing? The wings? Is that their
The
biggest?
wings, and they don't even need multiple flavors, bro. They got one flavor of wings, dog. And you go fuck them up.
Honey wings.
Yeah, they like a
There
honey
it
hot
is.
sauce flavor.
There it is.
It's impossible to describe the flavor if you ain't never had it. It's busting.
I'm so
We're doing a
hungry.
lot of plugging for Bethune Grill
I know.
right now.
You hear that?
But
You hear that, Bethune?
it's that good that I don't even care about getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, shout out to Bethune Grill. They've been a staple in the city for a long time.
Yeah.
And if you come through Daytona, stop by Bethune Grill.
Nice.
The purpose of this podcast is to do one thing, and I feel like I have to state this in order to fully kind of get people to understand what they should be expecting. Really,
hmm
the podcast is really about getting conversations out there, but it's not just like, I don't want to come at anybody with so much information. It's just like, oh my God. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm watching a documentary. We want to talk about fun things. We're going to talk
Mhm.
about sex. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about, money, how to get your money up. We're going to talk about, friendships. We're going to talk about all kind of stuff. We're going to talk about rap music, of course, because I'm a
Mhm.
hip hop star. They don't think I'm a star yet, but we going to just go ahead and speed that into existence.
They
But,
don't know yet.
and then, we got my man here, Miles, who is now really diving into hip hop, but he got other music experience that I don't have. So we definitely gonna get into the music. We're gonna get into sports because both of us love sports, from UFC to the NBA to what am I missing? Boxing. We're gonna talk about boxing, NFL. I don't know too much about soccer, but I'm willing to learn if enough people watching this want to hear about it. But we're gonna, we're gonna have our sports minute where we talk about this kind of things, But
Tennis.
I like tennis.
I do like tennis.
I have some selfish motivations for watching women tennis.
Let me guess.
You ain't got to. You already know. But we're not gonna go there. Like I was saying, one of the main topics of discussion here is gonna be what we call I don't know how to word it without it being like, without it sounding too crazy, but we're gonna get into the deep talk, the mysticism, the knowledge, the
Spiritualism.
the woke talk, for lack of better words, is everybody calling it now.
What's the definition of woke? Yeah, I don't fully know what that means when people say that.
So there's two wokes. You have the real woke, and then you have what is now considered woke. So the real woke is anybody that are aware of the social atrocities going on, like just in all communities around the world, not just here in America, but also someone who not just understands this, but takes effective action to try to change that narrative, to try to change the things around them. Whether it just be, hey, you see an old lady who can't carry her bags, go help her. That's a woke thing to do. Woke is being aware of how kindness affects the world around you. How love
positive
is more
energy.
powerful than hate.
Positive vibration.
Exactly. That's what woke is, the embodiment of living as a positive. Okay, so when you woke, you are the physical embodiment of positive energy of peace. That's what a woke person is supposed to be. But what we have now is we have this pseudo woke, what I would call it, is where everybody just swear they woke because they can type in and learn a whole bunch of information, like the information we're gonna talk about here. But just because you know the information does not make you woke. Just because you can regurgitate something you read doesn't mean anything. How can you apply it? How
Mm-hmm.
can you put it into action and make it something?
And how do you think people have? Because I think there's a bad connotation that goes with woke now, where people think it's someone that just wants to cancel everybody and just thinks that everything is somehow bad. When I think woke, I would think more, yeah, spiritually wise, like being more cognizant of being a good person and being, in tune with yourself. And now it seems like whenever you hear someone woke, especially if it's, from the right side, they just think it's someone that just a Karen or just wants to cause problems.
Someone who stirs the pot,
Right.
someone who always want to be right,
Mm-hmm.
someone who wants to be the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the people at all of these protests that we had recently. All y'all was at these protests. Where are y'all at now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't see no mass movements of black people getting together and stop spending their money in certain areas and start spending it in their own community.
Mm-hmm.
But ain't that what that was really about? Us coming together, unity. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that and
Yeah.
that again is where the pseudo woke. But a lot of that plays to social media because before those kind of people, they just did it in their house.
Mm-hmm.
They would go home and tell their family, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. I would do that. I just don't have the power."
Mm-hmm.
Now the power is in everybody's hands, and they know the power is in their hands. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But taking full advantage of that power is scary.
Mm.
Nelson Mandela said it the best, where it's a really long quote, and I ain't gonna try to say the whole thing, but basically he
You should
said,
try to say the whole thing.
"I'll be too high for that." But our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh, I have. So that was Nelson Mandela that said. I've
yeah,
heard
it's
that
it's
before.
really big in Coach Carter. That's one of the big
Uh-huh.
quotes that's like really portrayed throughout the movie.
Oh,
Basically, that is a lot of people's fear. Once you get good at something, do you want to be great?
yeah.
And we keep saying as a people we want reparations, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you get reparations? What do you mean by that? Like, how do they even go about divvying out an even amount of money to all black people? Where do you cross the line? What about black kids that got white and black parents?
Mm-hmm.
But the black
Mm-hmm.
parent that they
Yeah.
do have actually has more experience of racism in their life than two black parents who just happen to have a really black kid. Where does the line get drawn? So
Yeah.
you can't begin to draw that line if you don't have any type of unified front on what a black person is, for lack
Mm-hmm.
of better words. Like what is black? Okay. When we say we want reparations, we deserve reparations for slavery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against the idea, let's be clear. But what exactly is a black person based on what we portray as black people?
Right. Right.
We don't have a unified front as black people. Japanese people, they got reparations. You know why? Because if you stand in a group of Japanese people and you say something about you, or not even a group of Japanese people, hell, something happens to a Japanese person here, they can go back
Mm-hmm.
to a consulate or what's the word? Embassy. They
Okay.
can go back to an embassy
Right.
in their own country and
Mm-hmm.
place a complaint against what happened to them in this country and that country and make a call over here and stuff will happen if it was
Wow.
too bad. I'll give you a quick example. So Future, the rapper,
Mm-hmm.
his DJ and him go to Dubai. The weed is extremely illegal in Dubai. They find like some shake from the weed
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
bag. The guy gets arrested, his DJ Esco. He goes down for 56 nights in Arabian prison. But he's trying to contact the U.S. Embassy to say, "Hey, I'm stuck over here on some that I didn't even. It's not like they
Yeah.
just got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to talk to the embassy."
Mm-hmm.
So that whole thing happens. This whole story. But I say that to say that at least as an American, at least as a Chinese person, if something happens to you wrong in this country, you can place a call and put
Okay.
in a report to your embassy.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
based on your race. What embassy do we have as a black people?
Is it all bundled under the U.S. Embassy? Is that essentially what it would be?
Technically, but a black person ain't gonna get the same love as a rich white person.
You mean like Brittany Griner?
Brittany Griner is a good example.
Yeah.
Again, DJ Esco is a good example. He wasn't a broke dude.
Mm-hmm.
if we want reparations, where do we start?
Mm-hmm.
So Japanese people, a lot of people don't realize that they got reparations. We like to talk about the Jewish people,
Mm-hmm.
but Japanese people got reparations
Mm-hmm.
during the whole Pearl Harbor situation. Now there's a lot of speculation. I'm not saying this is true. I've heard rumors.
Mm-hmm.
I have my beliefs. If this offends any veterans or anything, I apologize because this is just information that I heard down the grapevine, and we're
From
here on to
Tr3bel.
make it. Yes, and we're here on the Make It Make Sense podcast, and it's not just from me.
Mm-hmm.
You can look this kind of information up. It takes research. Pearl Harbor is rumored that the Americans were having an issue with finding sleeper agents that the Japanese had in America. And they were scared that they were gonna basically be able to infiltrate America without them really knowing who's just a Japanese citizen or a Japanese spy. So
have like trying to profile them correctly.
Correct, which is very hard. Not
Yeah.
trying to sound funny, but a lot of Asians do look very similar. And when you look similar, how do you even remotely start trying to tell certain tendencies?
Yeah.
From like, okay, take an
Side
average
note:
American.
does black people think all white people look the same?
Y'all
I
have
think yes.
classifications. I wouldn't say y'all. I don't know. You're not white. Like you. Like,
No, yeah, I mean like pure
like white people have classifications. Y'all like got like groups of types of white people.
But it isn't like they all look the same.
It's like I don't know. Groups of types of white people kind of look the same. I know that sound weird. It's like
yeah,
like if I say a redneck that work in construction, you're probably gonna picture what?
Yeah, camo. Probably a mullet.
Probably gonna be wearing some mossy oaks. God damn it. God damn it. Or some Costa
Not in
Del
the best
Mar.
shape. Yeah.
You know, right? You know, so
Yeah.
okay, that's a stereotype. All y'all not like that.
Right.
I know a lot of cool
I see what you're saying.
And I know a lot of cool country white dudes that work construction. I work construction now. So I'm just saying, when you say, okay, and I give you another one. If you say a thug, what's the first thing that pop in your head? You're not finna picture a fucking white guy with sagging pants and rags on. I don't give a shit what you tell me.
Right. Yeah, thug. Yeah, you don't think.
But it's not because it's not just on no strictly. Let me be clear, it ain't strictly on no government. We got guys like Trick Daddy saying, "Baby, cause I'm a thug," and I love Trick, but I'm just saying this adds to the narrative.
But
now,
I think what you're talking about isn't like I'm talking about physical, like how like I don't think most people know Korean from Japanese to Chinese.
Right.
That's how much we all think they're so similar looking, right?
Right.
So I was just thinking.
No. I wouldn't say that all white people look alike.
Yeah,
in that way.
It's different.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
But I think that to the point, like, so it's hard for them to decipher who is a sleeper agent, who isn't.
Right.
So they decide.
I completely forgot that's what we were talking about.
Hey, that's why I'm here.
Yes.
Make it make sense. Basically, their idea was to stage an event. And this is, again, hypothetical. This is something I've read down the grapevine. I'm not saying this is complete fact. So don't quote this as a fact. Do your own research. But
he said it's a fact.
I didn't YouTube.
How can you hear me? You got great hearing.
I do, so I don't get flagged fucking around with YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So basically, Pearl Harbor was rumored to be a staged event where they painted American fighter jets as Japanese jets and crashed it into this event, knowing that this baseball game was going on and knowing that there were so many.
That happened?
The baseball event. I said the baseball event because to my knowledge there was a baseball event happening on the naval base. So Pearl Harbor happens. They then, what we know for a fact though is that after Pearl Harbor, concentration camps were put in place for Japanese people. And they were treated like the Jews, for lack of better words. In that process, though, after they got out, after that was over, they did get reparations as Japanese people. Anybody who was related to any Japanese person who was related to any Japanese person that was in that situation got some type of funds.
Yeah.
So these kind of things happen. I say all this to say that things are very deep.
Yes.
The government does a lot of things, but there is some sense to make out of why we as black people can't get reparations, because it's much harder to pinpoint exactly how you do that.
Yeah.
Because again, we're not even unified as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get along enough. We're still fighting over colors, my boy. And
Yeah,
again, it's no
that crazy.
disrespect to anybody who banging. You know, that's y'all lifestyle, especially the people in like Cali and the people in like Chicago who like born into that shit and they have no choice.
Yeah,
Cats out here, a lot of y'all have a choice and y'all just choose that lifestyle. But
yeah.
that's another story for another day.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll wrap up the pilot episode. I want to talk sports. I have been wanting to talk to you about Leon Camaro. Well, actually, let's start with Justin and whoever the other guy was. Fizzle?
Fizzle.
Bro, since Justin didn't wear all the damage, I guess I see how he won, but homeboy was working him.
Fizzaev is a beast. Like, there's no way around that. Like, I told you because I was messaging you. I'm like, nah, bro, this fight is gonna be a banger because they're just two fighters that have that dog mentality. Like,
well, Justin alone, he's gonna go forward. So
hit me. That's how Justin Gaethje feel. Hit me. That's cool.
He got rocked too. Did you see the highlight?
When has Justin Gaethje not got rocked?
Yeah. He always does that peg leg shit.
Yeah, like he gets fucking rocked a lot, but it's again, he a dog. He just takes it. Yeah. He like, dog, you can't take me out though. You gotta put me out in here. Yeah. And that's what Oliveira did.
Yeah.
But that was the only way Oliveira was getting rid of Gaethje.
Did he submit him after he not have to? Yeah.
That was it. That's the only way you were getting him out of there.
That's the only way he's lost his submission, right? Khabib.
I think he's got knocked out before. I don't want to speak.
He almost did with
I think Poirier Dustin got him.
He didn't knock him out though. They went to decision.
Didn't they fight twice? Am I tripping? Because I feel like they fought younger. Poirier is a beast, bro.
Yeah, check it out. So they only won. It's only been one fight.
Oh, okay.
And it was TKO. It was a TKO.
I thought he finished Gaethje.
I don't remember that.
I thought he finished Gaethje.
Oh.
I think that was the only person to like finish Gaethje.
Oh, he just pummeled him and he didn't knock him out, but
he didn't go out cold. I don't think I ever.
Okay.
It's hard with UFC, MMA. Boxing is much easier for me to see the scoring because
it's harder for me because I've watched more UFC or mixed martial arts than boxing, so it's deceiving to me.
But if I explain the point system the way it's supposed to be set up, it's easier to understand how the rounds are supposed to be scored. I think the biggest issue with the UFC is that it's hard to understand exactly how you score the rounds. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Usman and Edwards.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
For the first 2 or 3 rounds, don't get me wrong, Edwards was landing cleanly. But
yeah,
it was Usman who was pushing the pace. It was Usman who was landing head and body shots.
He was moving forward, right?
And landing. If you look at the numbers, I think it was through round 3 or through round 2, and they were in round 3 when they showed the graphic. But it was like Usman had landed like 32 head punches and 16 body shots.
Wow.
To about 10 or 11 from Edwards.
In the first 3 rounds?
First 2 or 3 rounds. I can't remember exactly which round it was.
Okay.
But man, you might be able to pull up the stats.
Yeah. All right.
Here we go. I got you.
Okay.
Kamaru Usman landed 83 significant strikes to Leon Edwards 55.
Wait, this is the whole fight or just
this is the whole fight?
He had 83 to Kamaru's 55.
No, Kamaru had 83 to Leon Edwards. 55.
Oh, right. Wow. Okay.
But Kamaru threw 135 strikes and landed 83. Edwards only threw 75 strikes. Oh, these are significant strikes, not total strikes. So we got Kamaru Usman with the significant strike advantage with 83 out of 135 significant strikes to 55 out of 75. Wow. 61% Kamaru landed. Out of 135 strikes, you landed 65%. Wow. I mean 61%, excuse me.
Compared to what? And Edwards, what was
Edwards was 73%, but he only threw 75 punches. Okay. Significant strikes.
So he had less volume but more precision.
Yeah, but isn't it easier to have more precision when you're throwing almost half of the significant strikes that the other person had?
Some would argue, yeah.
So for that other person to land 61% of their significant strikes is more of what I'm looking at. When they have that high of a number. If you've thrown 130 something significant strikes and you landed 60% of them,
Because if you're thinking about it as like damage, if those are significant,
Correct.
that's more damage. So I could see
So then
that, I
we
guess.
have the total strikes.
Mhm.
This is even weirder. It gets really weird. Kamaru Usman, 189 total strikes out of 247.
Wait a minute, say that what?
189 out of 247 strikes. He landed 189 total strikes.
Kamaru did.
Kamaru did.
Okay.
And Leon Edwards landed 64. So 90%. So I'm and this is hypothetical because I didn't do the math, but about
Mhm.
90, 80 something percent
Mhm.
of Leon Edwards' strike attempts were
Mhm.
even significant strikes.
Mhm.
If he had 85 total strike attempts, he had 75 total significant strike attempts.
Mhm.
What is considered a significant strike when we talk about the leg kicks?
So it seemed watching the fight, it didn't seem like Kamaru was throwing that much.
We have to consider when they were on the ground where he would have them pressed against the fence.
Okay.
Those jab
Okay.
rabbit, but those are considered significant strikes.
Those are significant. Wow.
Because they're not anything outside of a jab is considered a significant strike.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but you have to think, even if Usman is missing and he's trying to land that right hand or that left hand because he fights in southpaw,
Mhm.
if he's trying to land that left hand coming across, even if he's missing,
Mhm.
even if he's reaching for the body and missing, he's throwing a significant strike. But to put that in perspective, that means that Edwards wasn't throwing any damn thing. If it's anything outside of a jab, what is Edwards throwing? If he's throwing what total number? 85 total strikes. He's thrown in 5 rounds, dude.
Those jabs, though. So in the last 2 rounds, it seemed like in the last 2 rounds, those jabs were becoming significant. Like
Yes, now
he was
there
sticking.
is the caveat to that. Some there those jabs hurt.
Because
that's
he
what I
was
was
physically
saying.
reacting to him when.
And that's
he
what I was
getting-
saying too. But this is the hard part for me
Mhm.
because it's easier to me. And I play the UFC video game and I fight with different strategies.
Mhm.
But it's much easier to get caught with something when you're not throwing anything and this guy has to push the envelope.
Mhm. Mhm.
And everything is on the line for him.
Yeah.
But when you have these numbers, it's not like he knocked Kamaru out.
No. No.
So how much can we really put the weight on those two? How many of those jabs did he actually land? You know, they just seem significant because he's not throwing that much. So it feels bigger. And because Usman wasn't really connecting with anything super heavy, it just felt more decisive than I think it should have been on the visual fact.
And everything you're saying makes sense. The one thing that's interesting is that Kumaro felt he lost. Like everything he's released, he didn't think it was a robbery. He didn't think it was because they were in London. He's like I think he maybe don't quote me, but I think he said like he was the better man. Like
He said he thought he won.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just more or less, did I do enough to win? Did I not? It was a close
he obviously
fight.
probably thought he did, but he didn't seem surprised.
I don't think he
Yeah.
cares anymore. He's done enough.
I agree with that. I
don't think he-
he's,
and I
he's
think-
already talking about like his presser. He was like, it's tough to be champ, and yeah, he's kind of checked.
And
out.
he
his
said-
knees are
and-
garbage too, right?
Yeah, and he's 35.
Yeah.
And he said out of his mouth, you know, and I lost my belt to it. And he said, I lost to another brother,
Yeah.
a good guy.
So
So
he's-
I don't think,
yeah.
I think it's better for him to have Leon Edwards with the title than Chimaev
Or Colby.
or Kobe.
Yeah.
How does Kobe get that?
All right, we're gonna talk. We need to talk about that next. We gotta wrap this up. But
I gotta say this while I'm here.
okay.
Why the hell is Kobe Covington getting a title shot?
Because he draws. He's a good
Who?
fighter. He draw. I don't. Because does he draw? That'll be the question. Because as people over the stick, do they understand?
He doesn't draw. You can't prove to me that he sells
Who
that
was
much.
his last fight? Because I don't even remember.
Exactly.
But who was it though? Was it?
Exactly. Was it Masvidal?
It was Masvidal. It was Masvidal.
So is he the draw? Or was there drama to draw?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And Masvidal had a way bigger fan base. Masvidal was the one that was on the cover of UFC 4
right.
with Adesanya. Covington's a better fighter just based on the MMA
It's
ramifications.
purely a stick, right? Isn't that why he even started that? Was because Dana
Yeah.
was like, "Bro, you're boring." But I don't know how he. Like to answer your question, I don't know how he. I don't even know where he's ranked. I don't
He's
know. if
number
he's-
one.
Colby's one
Now, yeah.
before.
Usman, who was
So-
the original number one. I think Covington
so
I think
it's-
Covington was number two.
Who do you think would have been a better option?
I don't know. I get why Dana's doing it,
Mm-hmm.
draw wise. Again, just for the
Leon
not
wants Masvidal, but Masvidal, he knows he'll smoke him. I think he knows he'll smoke him.
Masvidal doesn't have enough sting left for
Right.
you to really make that a compelling title fight
After
after
getting
what
starched by
Usman
Usman.
did
Yeah,
and
you're
then
right.
losing to Covington.
Because it was way cool. It was way closer with Covington than it was with Masvidal. He
Covington just knew he better hold on for dear life.
Right.
And he outstruck Masvidal at times, but
Mhm.
it was mostly land, let me get my hands on him.
Right. Smart.
So I mean, but that's he's smart enough to know how to win, but it didn't work. Couldn't work against Usman.
Just holding that hand.
Covington. What is he gonna do if he can't out wrestle him?
He's gonna have to like out condition him, like because Leon looks like he fades a little bit. That might be his only little gap. Like even
But see,
Diaz saw
that's
that.
why he doesn't throw like that. I think that's why he
Right.
didn't throw against Usman. But
Right.
those shots that Usman was eating, I don't think Covington has the composure to eat those kind of shots and not just start spamming for the takedown,
Mm-hmm.
or not start spamming the panic button like, oh God, I got hit. Oh, all right, the fans are against me. I got to do something crazy here.
Yeah.
This is what happened to him with Usman.
Yep.
He was in that fight both times. He was, and every time they get into that pocket and it just starts becoming that flow, you can see the confidence. You can see him building it, and then something will happen. Bam.
Yep.
Leon Edwards is hell of a more accurate striker than Usman.
Yeah, he's got that Izzy level.
He's gonna hurt Covington. That's just my opinion.
I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. So well, let's call it here. How do you feel about it? How do you think it went?
I think it's good, man. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even really begun to really get into the stuff that we're really gonna talk about on this show. But it's a lot of things to make sense of. We talked about a lot of stuff. Hopefully we ain't oversaturate you with information. If we did, good. You got a lot to research.
Word. All right. Well, till next time.